Okay, welcome to the Football Talk Show. Let's have a toast to Tottenham being top of the league. We've got Gogs here. We've got Shane as well. We're going to talk Tottenham. We're going to talk top of the league. We're going to talk the dizzy heights. And we're going to go through the game week as well and see whether we can get some predictions right. I've been a bit off form, as the two lads have been telling me.
Oh, hold on. Who's won the last 2 weeks and who's got the highest score so far? Oh, that's me, isn't it?
Yeah, if we're getting technical, Gogs, you've also got the most forfeits to do when we meet up.
Actually, technically, I don't. It's Hemel now.
Either way, it's not me.
You've got 1 dare. I've got 2 forfeits. Hemel got 3. Mystic Hemel's got 3 dares to do now. So technically, I'm not losing. I'm the winner. Okay, we're not quite the winner, but you know. Sorry, Hemel. After you.
Can we appreciate Tottenham being top of the league, lads? Can we have a little comment about that? You're not giving me
Tottenham being on top of the league. You might as well just appreciate it now. It's like you being top of a girl. Hardly ever happens, and you might as well just appreciate when it happens. Okay.
Wow.
If the season ended now, fair enough. But you ain't won nothing, and you're still a bunch of bottle jobbers, even with Mourinho as your manager.
Credit where credit's due, though. Credit where credit's due. They looked good on the weekend. They did a job. They did a job on Man City, but then again, Leicester did one on them and they scored 5 goals. So don't be bragging too much, Emma.
We are gonna win the league. I'm telling you. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. It's been a weird year.
Do you feel it in your fingers?
In my fingers?
Don't you feel it in your fingers?
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
Come on, because love is all around us.
Come on.
X Factor, man. Can we get on with the football?
By the way, yeah. Just for our viewers out there, Hamill doesn't know much about music, and also, he's never seen Rocky. I'm appalled by that. I'm appalled. Anywho,
you have to pay for it.
It's crap. Why? I could just lend you my DVDs.
Let's get on with the predictions this week. First game up Friday night, Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. Shane, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think Palace, to be fair, our prediction with Palace Burnley, I wasn't even aware that Zaha had COVID. So obviously that's why he didn't play. So the assumption would be they played, was it on Monday they played and they lost?
You don't get COVID over the weekend, though.
Well, I don't know when the test was done, so I don't know if he's going to be back or not in time for the game. I think it'll be a bit too soon for him to be available. So I would imagine it's going to be a tough game for Palace, especially without Zaha. It's hit and miss with Palace. They can be hot, they can be cold. I just think on this occasion, I think they're going to be cold. I think Newcastle will show up, and I think Newcastle will get a result. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Newcastle.
Nice.
2-1 Newcastle.
For me, Palace. We've always said this. Like Palace without Zaha are a bit toothless, aren't they? They haven't got much going on. He's their main goal scorer, and it kind of showed over the last game they played. Playing Newcastle not in great form either. They lost 2-0 to Chelsea over the weekend, and really it could have been more. But Newcastle are struggling on all fronts. Really, their defense looks shaky. Yes, Wilson's got 6 goals for the season. But where else are their goals coming from? I think they'll struggle. I think this is going to be one of them boring matches. But I think Newcastle may just scrape. Actually, no, I'm not going to go Newcastle. I think a 0-0. This has got 0-0 written all over it for me. So 0-0.
Interesting 0-0. For me, I think Newcastle just looked horrendous in the last game against Chelsea. I just couldn't believe how poor they were. And Brucey said,
they're not been good since the opening day of the season where they were good and they're playing Wilson up front with Andy Carroll and they look good with that big man, small man. But then since then they've just kind of like fallen off.
Wasn't Wilson injured anyway against Chelsea, right?
Yeah, but before that
I'm on about.
Yeah, I mean Newcastle. Both teams are hit and miss. They can show up one week, they can be absolutely atrocious the next week. I just think Newcastle will need a response after the Palace defeat. After the Chelsea defeat, while Palace some could say were quite unfortunate not to nick a last-minute draw with Burnley because Benteke had that chance right at the end.
What a save by Pope, though. What a save.
Yeah, Pope, like I said, I stand by what I've said about Nick Pope. He is England's #1 goalkeeper in my eyes. I don't know how Pickford's still chosen over him because Pope is a much better keeper.
Distribution, no. But anyway, I'm going Palace 1-0. That's what I've been doing. I'm going with that. Second matchup, Brighton, Liverpool on Saturday. Gogs, we'll go with you first. An interesting game, Brighton, Liverpool.
Interesting game. Brighton finally got a win over the weekend. Thoroughly deserved, I think. It was obviously controversial with the penalties and Lamptey sending off. But overall, their 2-1 win against Villa I think it was what they deserved, especially some of the performance they put in this season. They've been unlucky with some of the decisions and they got the win. They're playing Liverpool, who obviously beat Leicester 3-0. They taught Leicester a footballing lesson, even though we didn't show up. But I think as good as Brighton have been this season and as wind up the sails with a win, I think Liverpool have too much for them. Liverpool proved on Sunday that their squad depth is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's definitely the best squad in the league. And I think they'll win 3-0 against Brighton, unfortunately.
Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, I think everyone is surprised to a certain extent of how well Liverpool have performed without all their players. Everyone thought when Van Dijk went, they would capitulate. Everyone thought then Joe Gomez went, they were going to get even worse. Salah got COVID and Jota's just taken over. They've got Fabinho.
He's been amazing, by the way.
Who was that, Jota?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jota's he's produced some really good performances. So much so, I think he should start ahead of Fabinho.
And he's only 6.6 on Fantasy Football League.
Yeah, and on top of that, Salah's back this weekend as well, which means I can't see anything other than a comfortable Liverpool win. I think I'm going to be on the same as Gogs here, go for a 3-0.
Okay. I think Liverpool, were impressive against Leicester. Were Leicester poor as well? I think goals.
We were poor. We didn't show up. I think we showed Liverpool a bit too much respect. Our whole counter-attacking game got nullified. If the penalty goes in, we should have got a penalty, yes. But I still don't think we would have won. It literally would have been one goal we scored. We just didn't attack them as we should have done. And yes, Liverpool good, but we were just poor as well.
They've got their own injuries, haven't they? So it's not just they haven't got their best team out right now.
No, we've still got 5 or 6 players out. So
they're missing Pereira, aren't they? Leicester a lot now.
Pereira, Castagna, Soyuncu's out. Maddison's hardly played. Evans has been in and out of the team, but we can get onto that later on.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go Liverpool to win 1-0. Sneak it late. I think Brighton will play well again, and Liverpool just nick it at the end. Right, we're going on to the third match. The banker of the weekend, Man City, Burnley. Shane, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, City have to be considered favourites, but how much of that win for Burnley against Palace would have given them confidence? I think they'll be high. They tried. They put the effort in. You know what you're going to get from a Sean Dyche team. But yeah, City, you can't look past City winning this one. I'm going for a 4-1 win for City.
Gogs?
Oh, Burnley, did I read right that Burnley are subject to a takeover?
Yeah, I've heard that as well, but so are Derby. There are plenty of teams out there that have been linked, but
no, I think from a footballing point of view and from a club point of view, if they got someone to take over and they started pumping some money into there, it'd be interesting how Dyche does with a little bit of money, considering he always complains about other teams having money. But it's interesting. But yeah, they won 1-0 against Palace. An overdue win for them. Finally, they kind of got 3 points on there, but I think Man City are going to have too much for them. I don't think it's going to be an annihilation of 4-1s, 4-0s. I think Man City are still finding their feet. They're with Aguero still not fully fit. Jesus is kind of in and out of the team. I think they're still missing that David Silva in midfield. Yes, Foden's playing great, and he's had another good game today in the Champions League. But I still think they're missing maybe 1 or 2 players. They're missing a decent winger. Mahrez. I told you the other week, Mahrez is getting called out. He's going down the right, cut on the left, and everyone's finding out now. This is something that was happening a couple of seasons ago. He's so easy to do, and he's not passing at the right times. He's not becoming a team player. So they've got 11 really good players, but team they're not very good.
This is Morris bashing. Morris bashing.
Not Morris bashing. I'm just stating facts. That's what it is. It's facts. But I think Man City will still have too much for them, so I'll go for 2-0.
2-0. I think this is going to be the bank of the weekend. I think Man City 4-0. I'm thinking of drawing in my dream team, fantasy football, get some extra points. But yeah, 4-0 for me to Man City. Everton Leeds is the next game. Gogs, how do you see this one going?
Everton Leeds. Everton obviously won 3-2 against Fulham. They were comfortable, but I think they kind of chilled out the last 10 minutes and they made the game a little bit more uneasy than it should have. Fair play to Fulham for giving them a little bit of a game in the last 20, but overall Everton were comfortable winners. And then Leeds went to Arsenal and got a draw. They were so unlucky not to score. They were so unlucky not to come away with 3 points.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous how they didn't score.
Yeah, well, Rodrigo. That was the thing. Rodrigo came in on, and then Gary Neville said, "Just watch out because he'll cut in on his left and blast one." And then literally 5 minutes into his coming on as a sub, he did that. And I think Leeds away from home, could they beat Everton at home? And I think again, massive factor, no fans. But I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it'll be a high-scoring draw, so I'll go with a 2-2. Yeah, entertaining game. It was going to be 2-2.
Yeah, Shane.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same boat again. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be a 1-1. I think Everton will put the pressure on, but I think Bielsa's tactics and style of play will open up opportunities. Yeah, and I see Leeds getting something out of this game.
I'm going to go Everton 1-0. I think Everton are going to sneak this one. I don't know whether Everton came back to form or Fulham were that bad. The first goal was atrocious. How Fulham gave that away.
Shocking defending it was.
Fulham are awful. They are awful. I don't know why. I'm not even surprised by their performances.
I do think Everton will turn up for this, though. Ancelotti will get them together. I think James Rodriguez is due a good game as well, so I expect him to get me some fantasy points.
He's not been pearling recently, has he? He's just been there or thereabouts.
So I'm sticking with it. Right, next up, Gogs, your dad's team, West Bromwich Albion, against Sheffield United. Gogs, how do you see it going?
West Brom very, very, very unlucky on the weekend against United. In my opinion, that's a stonewall penalty. Should be given it. United were lucky to win 1-0. If you ask Shane, would you agree that that's a fair reflection? That you were lucky?
I think we were lucky, but I do actually think it wasn't a penalty. But again,
shock.
VAR. No, look, at the end of the day, I've always been honest about my views if I thought it was a penalty or not. Bruno Fernandes does touch the ball. Whether he touched the ball before he touches the shin is, it's secondary. What we're talking about was their contact. So from what I understand, the referee has said to the fourth official that he hasn't made contact with the ball. That's why he went to VAR and saw there was contact. Even if it's minuscule, even if it touched just his studs, he has made contact with the ball. Yes, he's hit the shin of the player. I'm not disputing that, but was that a stonewall penalty? I don't think it was.
No, for me, obviously because the rules have changed now. For me, if you get the ball and you absolutely clatter the man afterwards, that's at the end of the day, that's a tackle, right? That shouldn't be a penalty. This is where the whole handball thing is coming into it, like the one against Leicester, against Liverpool. He put his hand out. Yes.
The rules are clear. If you wear red and sponsored by Chevrolet, the decision goes in your favour. It's pretty clear. That's that. So
pretty much
we've got to deal with it. Can't touch them in the box.
Even at the end of the day, even if United finished 16th and you guys still finished second, I would still laugh in your face at the amount of pants you talk about Spurs winning the title. Spurs are never going to win the title. They're not a title-winning team. They're a bunch of bottle jobbers. When your best defensive midfielder is Højbjerg, when you've had to go to Real Madrid and take a percentage of Bale's salary to sign him, when Harry Kane is playing like a hold-up striker, like a Jan Koller from 1998, let's not get carried away. Spurs are not impressive. yes, they tactically did well against City, but are they an impressive football team to watch? If you gave me a choice between watching a Pochettino Tottenham and a Mourinho Tottenham, I'd rather watch a Pochettino Tottenham. This was the same problem Man U had. We had a choice between watching a Fergie Man United or a Mourinho Man United.
Right.
Who would you choose?
Talking about West Brom, just saying. West Brom, Sheffield United.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry, Spurs is coming anyway. But in terms of West Brom's penalty that was given against them, the rules are clear. We had the exact same thing happen to us against Palace. Exactly the same. It hit Lindelof's hand, went to VAR, penalty awarded.
But then again, it's not consistent. But when you look at the consistency, Harvey Barnes against Liverpool, and that he put his ball, and then he put his hand to the ball. It's a penalty all day. That's my issue with VAR right now. It's not consistent.
But it's not VAR that's the problem in this instance. It's the referee decisions. It's the fourth official's interpretation.
I still think big team mentality will always win.
I don't know. You say that, but all right, fine. I could probably put down United as big as they used to be. Probably not. But we've had how many? They're still
the biggest. They're still the biggest team in England by a mile.
Yeah,
at the moment.
But then your argument could be said based on the Crystal Palace game, for example. VAR didn't support us there. VAR gave a penalty. Anthony Martial, red card against Tottenham. VAR didn't support us. It gave, even though Lamela was the first to react, the first to hash out, it was Martial who got sent off.
It was 6-1, Houghton of the other.
Exactly, but the point is,
West Brom versus Sheffield United.
Anyway, West Brom. I think they're a bit of luck with West Brom this week. Hoping so because when Leicester lose, I'm miserable. When West Brom lose, my dad's miserable. It's not a very good place to be over the weekend. So I'm going to go for a West Brom 2-1 win this weekend.
West Brom, Shane, quickly. West Brom, Sheffield United.
Sheffield United win, I think 2-0. I think West Brom, they're trying. They're just not. They lack quality. That's my honest opinion. They just lack the quality.
All right. Right. I'm going West Brom 1-0 this weekend. I'm going to hope for a win for Goggs' dad there, 1-0.
Who's going to score? Just out of curiosity, who do you think is going to score from West Brom?
He doesn't know anyone.
Carnu.
Right. Al Robson Carnu.
Yeah. I was thinking Nwanku.
Oh, wow.
Especially not said Cyril Regis.
Right.
He doesn't know who that is.
Hey?
Southampton. Shane, let's have your opinion on that matchup.
To be honest, I'm happier we're playing away than at home right now because away from home we actually are playing pretty well. We've got some results on the road. Football's been better. I don't think we can play like we did on yesterday in the win against the Turkish side. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their name, but certainly shouldn't be playing like that. We were way too open and expansive. Against a team like Southampton, we'll get picked off. But McTominay needs to start with Fred. That's the best way we play. And then have the attacking options as kind of Cavani. He's 33 years old and he covered more distance in that game than Anthony Martial did in previous 2 games that Martial's played.
Martial is rubbish, mate.
The biggest problem, Martial is a confidence-based player. He relies on playing with confidence. When he's in the mood and playing with confidence, he's immense, but it doesn't happen enough. And this is the problem.
He's not centre-forward, though, is he?
No, absolutely not. At the end of the day, Lukaku was an out-and-out centre-forward. Did he suit the way we wanted to play? I don't know. Now that you watch Cavani runs everywhere. That game was the first full game I saw Cavani just running everywhere across the pitch. It was amazing to watch it. At one point, he was on our own 30-yard line in open play running back. That's the type of player we need. But for this game, I do think we'll get the result. I think it's going to be tough, though. I'm going for a 2-1 win.
2-1. Goggs, what do you reckon?
Southampton, I think overall they were lucky to get a win. Lucky to get the draw against Wolves. Theo Walcott's got it. If Theo Walcott buries that chance at 2-0, the game over, right? Wolves came back in and they're the better team for the last 15-20 minutes. So I think a draw for them without Danny Ings was a good result overall. They probably would have taken that score. Going into the United game, I don't know. From my recollection, Southampton being a bit of a bogey team for United over the years, haven't they? When you go back to the whole days of 6-3 under the grey shirt, Letizia scoring some wonderful goals, and over the years, Southampton kind of have got those wins against United, and I'm going for that this week as well. I think Southampton will win, and I think I'm going to go for the 3-1 this week. Adams to score 1 and Ward-Prowse. I like him, Ward-Prowse. He's a good midfielder, probably the best free kick taker in the Premier League. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I just like the way he is, and I just like the way he plays. Simple, effective, no busy, no drama queen, no falling over like some people in red. I'm not going to mention who, Fernandez, but that's it. But I think that's what I'm going to go for.
You guys can say whatever you want about Bruno Fernandes. His stats speak for themselves.
It was a great goal yesterday. Credit to that. It was a great goal. But Southampton 3-1 for me.
3-1. I'm going Southampton.
Fernandes to get sent off, yeah?
Southampton 2-1. I think Fernandes to get a penalty. Shock. Man, you go in front, but Southampton come back second half. That's what I think. 2-1. Right, game of the weekend. Top of the table clash. Clash of the Titans. Chelsea versus Tottenham. Title decider, maybe. We're not sure yet. Gogs, what do you reckon?
Just out of curiosity, in May the 2nd, 2016, Chelsea Spurs, right? Shut up. Don't matter. Just shut up. You're going on about the past. 2nd of May 2016, Spurs went to Stamford Bridge needing a win to, make sure that shut up, I'm talking, right? And put you on mute, boy, right? They had to win, right? And they lost their heads. And I have a similar feeling this is going to be the exactly same way. I think Mourinho and the whole Lampard thing may boil over a little bit. Yes, they're good friends, Chelsea against Spurs has always been a little bit meaty, and I think it's going to be another meaty game. I see a red card in this game from somewhere, and I think Chelsea will win this game, and I think they'll win 3-2. I think it'll be a good game to watch, 3-2, and Spurs be put in their place. But then again, Son has scored 9 goals this season. Harry Kane has assisted with 9 as well. No, credit where credit's due, right? Yeah, and I don't normally say this about Spurs, and I refrain from having conversations with you about Spurs, but credit where credit's due, they are getting the results. They're not playing the greatest of football, not the prettiest football. It's like at the end of the night at a bar when you're trying to pull, you'll take the 5 because you want those 3 points at the end of the night, but really it's not really attractive, is it? Let's be honest. That's the kind of game that Hemel plays. But that's right, and that's what I'm saying, right? Credit where credit's due, but you're not good on the eye. But I think you'll lose this weekend. So 3-2 Chelsea.
Chelsea, Shane.
Yeah, I've got Chelsea to win this one as well. I think this is going to be a bit too much for Mourinho's style. I think Lampard's done exceptionally well. Now that they've got Mendy in goal, I think the defensive side of things is much stronger.
Yes.
I think Thiago Silva.
Yeah, but anybody can have a good team when you spend 300 million, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, this argument of 300 million, at the end of the day, they've spent the money. They had a transfer ban for 1 year. They've made up for it this year. That's it. Simple as. You can't.
Regardless if they had a transfer ban, if they didn't have that transfer ban, they still would have spent, and they still would have spent the same equivalent, give or take, now.
Yeah, but no one's saying they've not done anything wrong. At the end of the day, that's their decision as a football club to spend. They've bought these players. They're challenging now. They are title contenders, which everyone expected they would be after the amount of money they spent on the players of quality they bought.
Exactly. You spend that kind of money, then you need to be challenging for titles. Simple.
I think Spurs. The Spurs did a good job against City. I think tactically Mourinho got it right, but I think Lampard's going to get one over him. I'm going for a 2-0 Chelsea win.
2-0 Chelsea. All right. Right.
The floor is yours. You may have it.
And like we've been doing through lockdown, turn up unexpected and smash Chelsea up. 3-0, no doubt. Ndombele is going to cause havoc. Right, we seem to have lost Shane. Right,
no,
there
sorry,
he is.
I was about to mute you.
Yeah.
I was tempted to do exactly the same thing then as well.
You could have prevented it. 3-0 Tottenham, Chelsea. Watch out, Frank Lampard.
How confident are you?
Arsenal Wolves is up next.
No. How confident are you?
No. No more bets. No more nothing. Until these dares are completed, they just run as normal. We haven't.
No. It was just a question. How confident are you?
Listen. I'm telling you both now. With the Christmas episode we do when we're all back together, it's going to be some painful experiences for all of us because I have a feeling like
I'm gonna have 2 waxed legs for definite. I was thinking this, by the way. I was thinking over Christmas we'll do a Christmas special And if the pubs are open, let's just film from a pub and just get drunk at the same time.
Yeah, let's not.
Right.
I don't want to wax my leg in a pub.
No.
We need to get games. Arsenal, Wolves. Gogs, what do you reckon?
Arsenal, right? When Leicester were not in the Premier League, I used to look forward to watching Arsenal week in, week out, because they play some really great football. You know, the Invincibles, Henri Bergkamp, right? Yeah, and that's the kind of standard that they have set over the years. They set the standard for great football and for what the Premier League is now, right? Otherwise, it was mediocre. But, you know, Wenger came in, got some expansive football, some great players, and they were a joy to watch. And that's what you expect from Arsenal, for them to be a joy to watch, regardless of what the result is. At the moment, they're not a joy to watch. They're awful. They've got so many players out of form. And really, they've lost their head. What was Pepe doing the other day? Really, what was he doing? You can't be doing that, Matt. You can't be doing that. As an Arsenal fan, you would be so distraught with your team. You're so unlucky. Aubameyang looks half the player that he used to be. We were all raving about him at the beginning of the season because he ended last season. He signed a new contract, and he's kind of just fallen off the face of the earth. And Arteta's saying that he's better on the left. The man's a striker, playing down the middle. You know, you need goals. You ain't going to get a goal. You know, he's not going to get 20 goals from playing on the left all the time, is he? But with Wolves, they're another mysterious team. They seem to, first half, they seem to be not interested. Second 45, they seem to be a team that want to win. So this is going to be an intriguing game. But for me, I think Wolves will have too much for Arsenal this weekend. And I see them winning 3-1.
3-1 to Wolves. Shane?
Both teams, though, again, inconsistent base. You'd expect Arsenal and Wolves to be pushing harder and higher than they are right now. Wolves started so well against Sheffield United. Arsenal have just been so hit and miss. I still think Arsenal will get the result here. I think Wolves, they're struggling to a certain extent. So I'm going for Arsenal 2-0.
Arsenal 2-0. Right, Arsenal are terrible. I told you lot. Wolves 1-0 victors this weekend. Jimenez is going to score. And as Gogs has said before, if I predicted every Arsenal score correctly, they'd be in Division 5 or something.
That actually was Shane that said that, not me.
Let's hope for the best. Arsenal 0, Wolves 1. Heard it here first. Jimenez with a header, 74th minute. Right, LCFC next versus Fulham. Gogs.
No, Leeds.
Sorry?
Leeds versus Sheffield.
Leeds versus Sheffield.
United, yes.
No, Sheffield United are playing West Brom, Gogs.
Hold on. What am I looking at now? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, LCF. Gogs, Mr. Leicester City doesn't know his team's playing this weekend.
I thought it was Sunday. I was looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, I wrote Leeds down, but then I realised that I wrote Leeds down because Arsenal were playing Leeds the other week. That's why I got mixed up. Sorry.
LCFC Fulham. Gogs, what do you reckon?
Leicester are the team that love to give. You know, you haven't scored a goal in 20-odd games. You're guaranteed to score one against Leicester, i.e. Firmino. He was always going to score. Fulham, not won all season. They've been pathetic. Will Leicester be that team that gives them the first 3 points? I'm a little bit worried about this match. I really am. Because after last season, when we got smashed by Liverpool, we went kind of downhill. Our performances weren't where it needed to be. But I'm hoping, you know, that we put the Liverpool result out of the way. Maybe get a good result tomorrow night as well in the Europa League. So I'm going to actually go for a tough game here against Fulham, and I think we'll sneak it 2-1.
2-1. Shane, what do you reckon?
3-1 Leicester. Fulham's possession style football is going to play into Jamie Vardy's hands. They're going to get picked off on the counter-attack. They're a poor excuse for a passing team. This style of football does not suit the Premiership. That's it. Simple as. Until Scott Parker changes the way he works, Fulham are going nowhere.
I disagree. I think Fulham's style of football can work, but they're just not good enough. They can't deal with the pressure of the Premier League, and we've seen that now.
The thing is, their style is good. They just don't have the personnel for it. It's
hold on,
round hole, square peg. So to speak.
Listen, I'm not saying the style of football isn't impressive to watch. What I'm saying is the style of play in the English Premiership League, which is the highest form of pressing-based football, if you play possession football and you get picked off on the counter-attack, which has happened more than enough times for Fulham for them to go, hold on a minute, maybe what we're doing is wrong, and you have a centre-forward like Mitrovic, so all you want to do is move it, get it wide, cross it, let Mitrovic try and win headers. Or Reed, who makes specific type of runs, so movement off the ball type of runs. They're not good enough, but the style of play also just isn't suited for the Premiership. Simple as.
Yeah. I think it can work in the Premiership. LCFC, I reckon 2-0. I think Vardy, like you say, is going to cause problems because Fulham are going to get picked off. They're going to pick themselves off, I think. And Vardy will get a couple of goals this weekend because I've captained him in my fantasy football team, so I hope so. West Ham Villa, Gogs, what do you reckon?
The battle of Clarendon and Blue. Which Clarendon and Blue is going to win? We don't know. Will it be West Ham after a 1-0 win, or will it be Villa after losing 2-1? I think they came crashing back down to earth a little bit. Villa did. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're going to be doing this X, Y, Z. They're having a great season, don't get me wrong, and Grealish is having a great season along. But I think now Ross Barkley's out for at least 2 games. I think they're going to miss that a little bit because him and Grealish were kind of like they gel very well together, and they were picking the teams apart. But the thing was that they were picking teams apart like Liverpool who were pressing against them, and they picked them off on the counter attack. Playing teams against like Brighton who maybe had a bit of a higher line, with a deep block. I think that's going to be difficult, and I think West Ham will be just like the same way. I think they'll play a deep block, and West Ham will try to pick Villa off on the counter attack. I see a West Ham 1-0 here for me.
West Ham 1-0, Shane?
West Ham they've been impressive this season. They're organised defensively. I think the acquisition of Kufal at the back has been solid. Ogbonna looks like the Juventus centre-back from 6-7 years ago. He's solid against Sheffield United. I think Villa will cause them problems, though. I'm going for a Villa win here. I think Villa will win 2-1. I think Ollie Watkins and Jack Grealish will just be a bit too much for that West Ham back line.
Well, Watkins has got 6 goals so far this season, so it's been all right.
Yeah, and he's, and Grealish is Grealish. You know what you're going to get out of him. It is a shame about Ross Barkley, but I think they've got enough quality elsewhere to get the result.
Yeah. I'm going for a draw. I think both teams are evenly matched. I think 1-1 this week between these two. West Ham 1, Villa 1 for me. All right, just before we go, that's all the fixtures. Fantasy football player to watch this week, Gogs, who do you reckon?
For me, obviously with the fixtures, don't think you can look any further than potentially a Man City player. I think obviously we've all gone for a Man City win, so De Bruyne for me.
De Bruyne, Shane?
I'm going to go Vardy. I think Jamie Vardy against Fulham is screaming out a hat-trick there.
Vardy's on fire. Yeah. Your defence is terrified. Sorry.
And yeah, that defence should be terrified.
I'm going to go with Vardy as well. I've captained him. I think he's going to do the business this weekend. And that is it this week. Until next week, we'll get our days live.
Just a quick one. Yeah. 2 of our followers wanted a shout out this weekend. They've messaged me personally. So, Trush, Jaden Sachdev, thank you for watching. Thank you for the feedback, and everyone else, obviously. But it's a little shout out to you two. Thank you.
Also, rest in peace, Diego Maradona. What a legend.
Agreed.
Yeah, rest in peace. Greatest player, Diego Maradona, passed away today. So we pray for him and wish his family, our thoughts are with his family. That's the right saying, isn't it? So, until next time, we'll catch you next week. Spurs will still be top of the league. Watch this space.
See ya.
See ya.